Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. So, today, um, I want to talk about trusting God. I know I'm a little rough. Um, been rough for a couple of days now. Um, but today I wanted to talk about trusting in God, in totality, because um, I feel that sometimes it's hard. Me, and this is just me personally. Sometimes I just feel like it's hard for me to trust God to, well, I can't say I don't know how to trust God or I can't trust God, but sometimes it feels like I forget to trust in God to make sure that whatever trial or tribulation I'm going through is going to work itself out. So it doesn't have to just be with money. It could be personal relationships. It could be anything. Because every day we go through something different. It's not a day that goes by that some type of conflict isn't going on. And if there is no conflict going on in your life, you're not living. Because there's going to be some type of conflict, whether it's going to be external or internal. So in saying that, trusting in God with all of your heart has to be in the forefront of your mind. I know sometimes it's hard. Sorry about that. I know sometimes that's hard recording this on my phone. Sometimes that's hard to do because we live in a society, we live in a time, we live in an era where trusting trusting yourself is taught. Self-preservation is taught. Selfishness and selfishness is taught, and selflessness is looked down upon. So we live in a me first, type of society and world, where everybody is trying to get to it first. So it's a man eat man type of situation. It's going to be hard getting through the ego that's already been set up within us to want to replace God. And when we replace God with ourselves, we also create a division between us and God. So it's kind of like if you are doing a group project and the best writer in the group is trying to write the project, but you keep on telling him how to edit it or how to do this, but it's not your forte. The more you tell him how to do things and which way to do things, the less capable he or she is to being able to elevate what it is that is necessary to get the job done. Similar to if you are at home and you're trying to cook dinner, but your children are telling you they don't want this, they don't want that. They're trying to get your attention away from what the actual issue is. They want you to watch them do everything like, I want, mommy, can you look at this? Daddy, can you look at this? I want to show you my new dance. I want to show you something that I can see on TV. Hey, I did this today at school. But you're trying to you're trying to make sure that they have their nourishment, whereas they just want to get the abundance of your attention. You can't properly pay attention to their nourishment and feed them in the manner that they need to, because their minds are on something else. Come here, Carter. Give me that. She's running away. But you can't properly do your job because your time and your attention is being taken to somewhere else. So now that specific job is not being able to be done because everything else is put in front of your responsibility. God works in kind of that same way. Though we know he can do all things, we can't take our attention off of him or not know what it is that we actually need and we want, and not trusting him to be able to do those things in a timely manner and become like children, where we want his, we don't know what we want his attention on all things, but we aren't focused on the issues, the key issues, to get to the crux of whatever the issue really is. See, we're supposed to trust him in all things, but also we're supposed to be able to know, we're supposed to have the discernment to know what we're asking our Father to do. Going back to us being children, we have to know what it is that we want. We have to know, be able to ask him our heart's desires, because he's going to only fulfill what our heart truly wants. That's why when we talk about salvation, he can't force you to get salvation. That has to be a choice. It has to be what your heart truly wants. He can only give you salvation if that's what your heart truly wants. You can't be lukewarm. God has already given us all of the tools and necessities we need to get mostly everything we need on this planet done, in this life done, in this existence done. He's already given us all of the tools. So, back to when trusting in him, because he's already given us these other tools, already instilled in us since birth, since before inception, since before we even knew we were going to be born. It's up to, we can't turn around and rely in those gifts that he's given us, but at the same time not trust that those gifts work, and trust that he's already given us those gifts, and trust that we already have everything we need through him, and then celebrate those gifts and celebrate those accomplishments, or celebrate his presence in our life, whether we think he's there or not. Because regardless, we will never be able to get rid of him because he's everywhere. So when we're going through our trials and tribulations, we have to trust that he is going to make a way. Trust that he has already made a way. But it has to be our true heart's desire that shows him that we trust him to make a way. We already trust him to make a way. That already has to be within your heart. She knocking on the door. Come here, Mama. Come here. Give me Mommy's watch. Thank you. Welcome. Oh, good job. So again, we have to trust in God with all of our heart. The same way that we trust our friends to be there for us, the same way that we trust our spouses to be there for us, the same that we trust man to be there for us, we have to trust God even more than that, because he is more than that. God is a man so that he may never lie. He will never forsake us. And that holds true because he's always going to be there regardless if you're sinning or walking in the path of righteousness. He's always going to be there. He's never going to leave. His presence is omnipotent. He is omnipotent. We already know that this world is full of evil, full of sin. We know this to be true. We know it. So if we know that, we have to stay conscious and stay aware of where we are. And we can't be complacent in how we interact with the world. Because the moment that you wake up, that's another time. And that's another time that it's going to take you to get another chance in order to be in the world and suffer whatever comes with being in the world. But then we have to trust God and trust his path and trust his word to the fullest extent. Not halfway. Again, we can't be lukewarm. We have to trust him. We are building, he should be our foundation. And that foundation in him is like rock. We shouldn't build our houses on things that are shaky. People, things, feelings. Leaning on our own understandings of what's going on in the moment. We have to trust in him. We have to trust him. Nobody is perfect. Nobody. Nobody is perfect. Not you. Not me. No one. Except for God. God is outside of all of us. God is outside of all of this. So remember, when you're going through your depression, you're going through your struggles, you're going through whatever it is that you're going through, because I can't pinpoint what's going on with you. I can only talk about myself. Whatever may be going on in my life or going on in your life, I have to make sure that I am present in the moment and understanding what's going on and seeing things for what they are with my discernment, the gift of discernment, and trusting that God is going to take me out of the situation in his manner, with his will, whatever he wills. If I get sick tomorrow, and God forbid, or if it's his will that I get sick, I still have a testimony to love him and to spread his word regardless. Because if I'm healed and I'm given the ability to continue life, that's a testimony of healing. Even if I were to perish, that's a testimony of healing, because I lived my life in God, and now I'm going to be with the Father, which I believed. Healing doesn't necessarily mean longevity in life. Healing does not necessarily mean, miraculous happenings that come out of the blue. Healing encompasses so many things, and we have to trust in Him to be able to heal those things. He's more than a band-aid. He's the restructuring of wounds. The actual restructuring of wounds. The connective tissues coming back together. He's in between those bonds. He is the scar tissue forming and becoming functional tissue. God is all of that. He's not just a band-aid that replaces the hurt and the scars, and he is not a band-aid. You can make him a band-aid by not fully trusting that he is the one that's going to heal you. By not really going in deep in your studies, or going in deep in your, in your prayer time, or stop talking to him for a long time. You have to trust in him and keep walking, one foot after the other. Even though you stumble, you get up and you start walking. So that's my 20 minutes.